guys, welcome back to our vlog channel. We are going to be doing some fun things today, specifically with baking, and Mercedes has got a whole thing put together, and I don't know why I'm roped into doing the intro, but here we are. So I'm going to give her the mic.
I wanted her to help me film.
Oh yeah, well I can help with the camera, but I'm not going to be on camera. So good morning, hello.
Yeah, okay, so I guess to start, we are going to make my great-grandma Revert's rhubarb cake recipe. It's really good. And I was going to show you where I picked my rhubarb because my grandma actually had a rhubarb plant that they brought all the way from Illinois out here.
And it's a generational rhubarb. So we're like the 4th generation to have this rhubarb, Sadie and I, because it was my great-grandmother, then my grandmother's, then my mom's, and now Sadie and I. So we're the 4th generation rhubarb owners.
It's an old rhubarb plant.
And something that's really cool is rhubarb season is coming to a close. And so instead of us missing it like last year, we were hoping to make some fun rhubarb items. So
maybe even some jam.
We'll see what we do. But yeah, so that's the plan for today. So let's go and show you guys where we usually get the rhubarb. She already did prep work.
Yeah, I already picked it and cut it apart, but
yeah, so I'll show you guys kind of the process, and then we'll just take you along on the journey. And by we, I mean her, because she's gonna show you.
She'll help me film though,
and I'll help you film because I can do that part. So let's get it. All right, so explain.
So we're gonna go out here into the backyard with all the quackheads, and we're gonna go look at the rhubarb plant and show you. And I think rhubarb is really interesting. Morning, Momo. They're all making sure we're not gonna look at Spice. His big old butt. Yeah, and then we got the pretty girls over here, which I should probably shoo them into the shade at some point because mango's too hot. But hi, Shorty. Yeah, so over here next to the chicken coop is our rhubarb. You'll actually see Daffodil. She's all broody and she's been hanging out in the rhubarb. Yeah, so she tries to lay her eggs there. Sorry, sweetie, but we are going to bother this area.
She laid an egg.
Thank you. I'll use that for making the cakes. Oh, I hope I have enough eggs.
Should be fine.
We'll find out. Thank you. I will be using that. So these are our rhubarb plants. Fresh egg. Yeah, okay, so these are rhubarb plants. We used to have one right here, and my grandma recently transplanted it to her backyard. But something really cool about these rhubarb plants is I like watching them throughout the summer because they actually tend to die and then come back multiple times throughout their season, just because like the rhubarb will get old, and then once it's too old, it'll just die and then it'll regrow. And it happens really fast. So, yeah, but on here, people say that the leaves are actually poisonous. Not poisonous. They're not good for like bugs because it tries to protect itself from being eaten by like caterpillars and stuff. It's not a problem for birds or humans or anything, but you're not really meant to eat them, and the ducks and chickens don't eat them. But yeah, usually when we want to get some rhubarb, we go for the big stalks like this one. We pull it out. We'd rip off the leaf here, and we put it back into this area, as you can see the other ones that I have, because it'll decompose and then it'll help regrow next season. So yeah, I haven't seen it grow any more seed stalks. Usually when those grow, I take them and dry them out. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. She's all upset. She probably went and told Momo. Sorry, girl. But yeah, that's our rhubarb. So let's go look at it all cut up and make it into a cake. Hi, Harriet. Oh, Harriet. She's our new chicken.
Oh yeah.
She was just saved from another household. Hi, pretty girls. Let's get you in the shade. Come on, Shorty. Yeah, my pretty baby. Take a short stroll. You're not stressed. You want help? So the reason why she walks like that is because she came from an abusive environment as well. She was raised on mud and concrete, so her legs are actually like this. So like when she walks like this. So she has to use her wings and stuff to balance. And it doesn't help that she's a jumbo Peking, but our goal with these two is just to give them the best life they can until God calls them home. But yeah, so we got an egg. I'm going to see if we have any more because I'm a little nervous about not having enough eggs. Hi, Harriet. Sorry, Cotton Ball. No eggs in there. Okay, well, isn't she pretty? Yeah. She was recently just came from a farm where her two sisters were murdered in front of her. So she's been rehomed here so that she can be safe. But I think we only got this one egg. Let's go find out if we have enough. All right, let's find out if we have enough eggs. So we got 5. Let's see. Oh, this needs 1 egg. We might be doing pretty good on this one. So I could probably make the 2 batches of rhubarb cake that I have here. So you can help me talk about einkorn flour and why we like to use it as a gluten-free family. It needs milk. I'm going to need butter. Or it says margarine, but lard is also even better than that. Are you recording? Yeah. Nice. Hello, I'm collecting all the ingredients. Why don't you talk about einkorn? Okay, so we are going to start getting all the ingredients together. This is our great grandmother's recipe right here.
It's probably inverted for you guys, but we'll fix the video.
Yeah, and it's from my grandma Lucille Rewerts.
It says it just basically gives us a couple of ingredient measurements, and then it literally just says stir in remaining ingredients, pour into oblong pan, and sprinkle mixture of a 1/4 cup of sugar and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon over the top, and bake. So pretty simple instructions. We have family recipes that are crazy complicated, but we're thinking we might, submit those for competition someday if we get really good at baking. But in the meantime, we are going to be baking with a couple of ingredients that aren't very commonly used, mainly because our family is currently in the process of restricting and like our family is currently in the process of switching over from different kinds of ingredients to new ones that are healthier, longer term for your body. As you can see, we're not the skinniest people in the pantry, but what's happened is God's asked us to start doing some more research and education. So the things you see a lot of times we eat and we try goods and stuff like that is a lot of times the days where we aren't restricted by that, but we are making intentional decisions to do that. And so even when we're baking a special treat like this, we are making decisions that change our family generational habits to healthier, longer term habits to help support our system. So in that mindset, we've been restricting away from canola oils, seed oils, that kind of thing. We've also been changing over so our family's been gluten-free for about 10 years now.
I think it was 11 or 12.
11 or 12 years, yeah. And Sadie, you got to talk into the mic, so
11 or 12, sorry.
And we have been trying to figure out how to do that. Well, in that journey, one of our family members started explaining to us that they were actually allergic to the xanthan gum that is commonly found in gluten-free flour. And so because of that, we've decided to I've been trying to sort it out because of that allergy mixed with our allergy and trying to kind of compensate. We would have specifically, we have a tradition of cookie baking day at the end of the year towards Christmas time, and that would cause so many challenges because the gluten-free flour had to be separated from the gluten-full flour, And the two different flours had two different allergens to two different groups of people, and so we were constantly having to do double this and double that and double this and double that. It would like triple the amount of time it took to actually bake a single recipe.
We'd have to clean everything between anyone using it. It was a lot.
And so it just has become a hassle. And for me, the last year, I've been really encouraged by God to start getting into researching baking and trying new things. I've started sourdough, and that's required a lot more intentionality and actual like doing it than other baking things. And on my journey, I ended up working with my wonderful friend Shekinah, and she introduced me to this flour called einkorn. It's Einkorn. And einkorn is a real wheat. It is not gluten free. It is not all of the crazy wahuckus the things are. But the cool thing about einkorn is it's considered the mother of wheat. And the reason that is because it is over 2,000 years old. It has never been touched with chemicals, pesticides, any of that kind of thing, which do have an effect on our immune systems. We're allergic to a lot of that. And that's partly why we went gluten free, was trying to avoid those items. Um, and but it's a real flour, which means it's not made with xanthan gum. It's not made with fake chemical products trying to fix the less gluten in it. It just naturally is grown with less gluten, and it's the only one of the flour types, or one of the few, that have never been touched ever, as far as like being manipulated.
Well,
and so
it's not even grown with less gluten. It just lets the
no,
gluten go through the.
it's got naturally by itself less gluten in it.
Wow.
It naturally doesn't have the same gluten density as a normal wheat does.
And then also letting it go through the normal process.
Right, it's grown in a lot smaller batches, and they're grown on smaller like it's not produced as quickly, and because it's not mass produced, it's actually processed in a way that takes care of the plant and the wheat in a natural form. So all of our allergens, all of my family members' allergens, are all not any problem with this particular wheat. And so that's all to be said. Long story short, einkorn is what we now use as a family in like everything. So we use it for pancakes, we use it for cakes, we use it for bread, we use it for like chicken, if we want to do like breaded chicken, which we've never done before. It sounds like fun to try. Just anything that requires wheat, we use einkorn for. And it's kind of interesting because it's similar to gluten-free flour in that it's very dry and that it does take a little bit more moisture, but it's super good.
Well, and the cool thing about it too is that our family member can actually eat the flour as well. So there's no more having to separate for cookie day, for baking. As long as we're all using the einkorn flour, we can eat all together the same thing.
Well, and the huge benefit of that is it actually, once I introduced it to the family and I was like, hey guys, this is the stuff I've been researching, this is the things I've been trying. I actually had some of my other family members who are gluten-free try it, and they didn't have any problems. And all of a sudden, it literally made some of them break into tears, because it's the reality that life can go back to a little bit more normalcy, and we'll feel better about it at the end of the day. So as long as we're making the decisions that are healthier for our bodies and are healthier for our family, I think that this is going to be something that'll help us generationally. So now, before I get too distracted with einkorn, I'll show you guys that in a minute. Sadie needs to explain kind of the process you're doing before you do it.
Yeah, so I was just preparing it. I'm not fully doing it.
Yeah.
I was just measuring it out.
So let me get the einkorn really quickly, and I'll show you guys what it looks like.
Well,
and then
also something I'm going to mention real quick with her braid, Pippi Longstocking. Our recipe calls for butter or margarine. We don't use margarine. We use lard
or butter.
So sorry, sorry. I was like death gripping it, but this is my first time using lard because.
Oh really?
Yeah. Previously, we've only used butter, but we have so much lard today that I'm actually going to try it. So that might be a different thing that we're going to navigate.
Yeah.
But that'll be pretty fun. But yeah, that's the only difference in the recipe that I'm changing.
And we usually look for lard. I think lard mostly comes from beef, but we have to be careful because we're trying to avoid pork. We're not fully kosher, but it is something that we're aware of, and we try to be respectful of, because we do have friends and family members who are kosher, and it makes sense. Everything that's kosher is 90%. like the stuff we eat anyway. So we just have to make different decisions.
And for me, I love, like, my mom used to make pork ribs overnight. She'd like cook them in the thing. And every single time she would cook them, I'd always wake up with a massive migraine because of the smell of the cooking. Not because it didn't taste good, but because I think that was my body saying, hey, probably not the best thing for you to be eating.
So anyway, all that to be said, this is what einkorn. We have it in my special little jar. And I usually order the 10 pounds off of Amazon. You can actually get it next day delivered. And it's delivered from small farms all across the US and I believe overseas as well. I'll do some more research. I kind of just, because I found a great working alternative for me, I just haven't needed to do more research than what it is. But I'll do some more research and give you guys even more details. But einkorn, love it. It's resolved a problem for our family that we've been looking for. And it also is a huge blessing for our recipes. So, and because we're used to gluten-free flour, I already know how to navigate using a little bit more moisture, a little bit more proteins, that kind of thing to help balance out what it usually has problems with. So, all that to be said, I'm going to get Sadie set up with the camera.
Well, I was just literally going to talk into the camera right here.
Okay, I'm going to get you your mic.
Oh,
set up because I explained the einkorn. That's all you asked me to explain.
Well, can you help me though with like baking, or you want to just run off?
Well, yeah, I'll help you out with baking. I'll help you with the einkorn stuff.
Okay. But well, real quick, while Maddie was talking to you about einkorn, I was measuring out our brown sugar in our lard. I am doubling the batch today because I picked a lot more rhubarb than I had initially planned, so I might as well just double it. So yeah, I have 3 cups of brown sugar in here and a whole cup of lard. The first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to cream the sugar. So what I got to do is actually microwave the lard, get it all melted down so it can cream the butter nice and easy and smooth. And then we'll mix it all together, get the butter or the brown sugar all, sorry, that was really distracting. Get the brown sugar all creamed, and then we'll move from there. Okay.
Really hot?
Really hot. Hello. Up there. Okay, so now that this is ready, it's melted enough. I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour it into the metal bowl with the brown sugar. Yeah, well, it's animal fat. Hot. I need a pot holder. Do not touch it.
She's like, do not touch.
Because it's freaking hot, dude.
It's freaking hot.
It's... Okay. This is not like your aesthetic cooking videos. But it's a cooking video. Really? Okay, it's right here. So I'm going to cream the brown sugar in the tallow. Depending on how this goes, how well this is melting or not.
You could put it in the mixer.
Well, I'm supposed to cream it. I may not have melted it long enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, I've... Okay. So yeah, I've never used lard before on this, so I don't know how well this is actually going to cream the sugar. I might add some butter to this to actually help it fully cream, depending on how this goes. But you know, sometimes it's all about experimenting. And that's what we're doing, because I really want to use this lard. I don't know how exciting this angle is for you the whole time. All right, I'm going to get the egg and the salt. So again, I'm doubling this mixture, so I'm going to be using 2 eggs. And then for the salt, we're going to be using 1 teaspoon of salt. And these eggs are pretty clean. I'm using the egg that we got from the garden just now. And I like to crack it like so. Do your best not to get any eggshell in it. But if you do, you know what? Sometimes you can just fish it out later. Now, the one thing that would really scare me is if Gordon Ramsay watches this. I doubt it, though. I really hope not. Yeah, so we got that. Now we're going to do the salt. Here we are. Teaspoons are here. I'm going to go for half teaspoon. We need a whole teaspoon right here. Okay. This is 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of salt. Want it level. And the salt is to counterbalance the brown sugar, because you see all that? That's all brown sugar. That's a lot. Mix this in here. This is going to be part of the creaming process. Yeah, it's turning more into a paste. That's more of the cream that we're looking for. So yeah, now it's just time to mix in the rest of the ingredients. So we've done the brown sugar, the butter, or the lard, the egg, and the salt. So now I just have the milk, baking soda, vanilla, flour, and the rhubarb. The rhubarb I'm going to do last because it's really fun to mix in last. And so I'm going to move on to the baking soda. I forgot to get that out of the cabinet, so while I'm over there, I'll put this away. Now I want to play Guitar Hero. All right, so we need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. This is baking soda. If you don't have it, go get it. You're going to need it for this recipe. It's 1. That's 2. That was really satisfying, but you didn't see it. That's what it looks like now. I'm going to stir that in. And I'll get the rest of the ingredients. And when you're stirring, you really want to make sure that you're scraping the sides to get all of the ingredients in there so it's nothing left over unmixed. Okay, baking soda is done. Let's go ahead and do the milk. Actually, Maddie, could you come help me with the flour?
I love doing the flour.
She loves doing the flour. All right. So I have this one, but it has brown sugar on it. So actually,
Yeah, let's not hit it.
we need 2 cups. We actually need 4 cups of flour.
And I'm really excited for the tripod because it won't be that.
Yeah, I am too. Madeline just blessed my mom, dad, and I, and her with these little handheld tripod things. So we won't have to use this giant ring light anymore. So that'll be nice.
Here, if you scoop this back.
Yeah, and we need 4 cups.
This.
She doesn't like the angle, so I'm going to cut.
Is that better, Sadie?
Yeah, that's a lot better. You guys are getting all of the angles today because we're trying to figure out what best is for baking videos. And then, yeah, later today, my mom's going to make some jelly.
Yeah, we're going to jam some jelly.
She explained the difference between jam and jelly, but we'll have her. Yeah. So Maddie's doing the flour.
How much flour do you need?
4 cups. We're doubling the batch.
4.
4 cups. Okay. Here, I have a measuring cup that's clean. Because you don't. So one of the things that you want to be really aware of when baking is you don't want to cross-contaminate different things. So like I have this measuring cup right here, this 1 cup right here. I use that for the brown sugar. Now I can totally use that cup again, but I have to wash it before I put it in the flour. Did you just shoot yourself with flour?
Yeah.
Good thing Mom's not here. My mom also hates the texture of flour.
So 4?
4 cups.
Okay, keep going, sorry.
But yeah, you don't want to cross-contaminate. Once you cross-contaminate, let's say like brown sugar to flour, then it's going to make it really difficult to keep that flour and the brown sugar pure because moving forward, you don't know what contaminants might have gotten in. You don't know if there's anything that could grow inside the flour that comes from the brown sugar. And then also when you're baking or you're cooking the next time and you use the flour, you may not want your cross-contamination of brown sugar in there. And that goes for like eggs to milk, all the things. So you just want to be really hyper aware of is that 4?
That was 4.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna put it over here. Also, you like my shirt? I'm super grandpa.
And this is my grandpa's shirt. Grandpas unite, let's get. We're weird.
We are.
You see that?
I love it. I like being weird. Okay. Okay, so we just did all of the dry ingredients.
So I'll help clean the flour.
Yeah, don't worry. We're just gonna have to clean afterwards.
Fix my starter anyway.
Yeah, so why don't you do that? Why don't you also show them a little bit of that? Is that bad? Is that good?
It's fine. It just needs. It's dried out.
I've never seen starter like that before, so I was like,
Do you have a jar I can use?
do I? More like, does Mom? Check the cabinet. Mom has a million jars.
Not this cabinet.
Oh yeah, she put them in there. We're reorganizing, so she has a million jars. Okay, let's see. So we're on to vanilla, milk, yeah, and rhubarb.
No, I guess this will be fine. Then I can clean this one and move it over.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're actually going to do 2 because we're doubling the batch. And I like vanilla. One of the things that my mom, Maddie, and I actually really want to make is our own vanilla extract. And that's basically some vanilla, like the vanilla seed stuff. And I think either tequila. Hey, Google.
I really don't like
what do you use to make vanilla extract? Vodka. Use vodka. So it's literally vanilla and vodka, and you let it set for like a year, and then you have vanilla extract. And so vodka. But my favorite vanilla extract is to get it from Mexico. So we went and got some from Mexico last December when we took my parents on a cruise to, what was it? Cozumel. And that was awesome. So we got some more flour, vanilla. I know. We did all this stuff, and then now we have home vlogs. Yeah. Oh yeah, when you weren't around. But no, you get these home vlogs. Oops, I should close that so I don't make a mess. Yeah. All right, so then now I need 2 cups of milk. Usually it calls for buttermilk, sour or buttermilk, but I don't have those right now, and I usually always use normal milk. Yeah, it still smells good. We get ours from Esch's, and they are basically a grocery store that sells food that normal grocery stores will no longer sell. And the food's not bad, but it's just closer to the expiration date than what normal grocery stores want it to be. And so you get a massive discount on it. And it's actually pretty good. So we just have to be aware. We always want to smell the milk before we use it. But yeah. Okay, so now I'm just going to mix this all together. Then I'll get the rhubarb in. Yeah, so I'm getting this mixed together. Then I will probably use some butter or some more lard on the pan. And then I didn't preheat the oven yet, so maybe I should do that before I finish mixing. We preheat for 375 degrees. I will say that this recipe was made at altitude of what altitude? Hey Google, what altitude is Colorado? Okay, so we're at the elevation of 6,800 feet, give or take a few, depending on where you are at in Colorado, right? And so my Aunt Amber was explaining to us in the fair vlog, which you guys should go watch, that altitude actually affects how baking happens, because when you bake, it gets to a higher temperature faster, but then it drops. And so this recipe was made for the altitude. So if you try to make this at sea level, it's probably going to be completely different. I've not tried that yet. When we get back to Florida, we should totally try that. But be aware that, again, altitude and your elevation does affect the way you bake, the way things bake, as well as the humidity level, the dryness level, all of that. So we're just going to preheat to 375. No, I don't. Bake. Okay, oven light on. Oh, crap. So a little thing. Mom's jars for canning are in there. No, I can't because they're sanitized. So I'm gonna have to use the little oven, which is fine. No. Maddie, we need to talk to Mom before we touch her sanitized jars. Okay, so one of the things we're also gonna, because we're canning later today with my aunt, my mom sanitized all of the jars for the jams we're making. She'll explain it in that vlog, but we're gonna be using the smaller oven, and I'll show you guys that. But at least it preheats really fast, so that is not an issue. And the pans that we use should fit in there. So, okay, I got my rhubarb, the fresh rhubarb. Again, when you pick it or when you get it from the grocery store, you're going to want to cut the tip of it off and the far end that was where it came out of the ground off. And you're going to want to slice it. The recipe does say thinly sliced, but I kind of like the larger slices because then you can taste the rhubarb when you eat the cake. It's really up to preference. I just like the larger ones. We're going to dump this all in. We're going to mix it together. And then we're going to prepare our cake pan. So that's exciting. How's it looking? Looking good. So this is actually how it's supposed to look once it's all mixed together. It doesn't look very flattering right now because it...
Here, I'll take it closer so they can see it.
You want to? Okay. But yeah, it doesn't look very flattering right now, but just don't dump it on the counter. Yeah. Madeline. That's a lot of wasted ingredients if you did that. So, yeah, now I'm going to get the cake pan. We usually use small round or square cake pans. And that's perfect actually because... Yeah, that's actually perfect because it should fit in this oven here. But because it is a smaller oven, I do have to guarantee that, like Madeline was just saying. So one thing you guys also probably noticed outside in our backyard is those giant trees that our chickens and ducks are hanging out underneath. That is actually our plum trees. Those are green gauge plum trees. And those are also a family heirloom plant that we actually took from my great-grandma's old house before, huh? With permission, yes, with permission. She actually helped us pull them like a few years before they passed away because they really wanted to guarantee that the family heirloom of the green gauge plums would continue on in the family. And so currently we're the only family members that I know of that have those green gauge plums from the actual heritage plant. And so those should be ready in a few weeks. So we might make a video on those being picked. We're going to have our family come over and pick a bunch. And then we might even make some jams. I actually found a recipe from my great-grandma Basher who had a green gauge jam recipe in Mom's old canning book, Maddie. What? Yeah, I know. I was really excited about that. So we're going to have to do that together. But let me get the cake pans to make sure they fit. Alrighty, ready. So I got the pans. These are for sure going to fit. I'm just going to need to rinse them out so they're not dirty. Whoa. Okay. So yeah, you guys should totally try making this recipe at home. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it if you do make it. because it is like people don't really use rhubarb very much in cakes anymore. So it'd be pretty cool to hear everyone's feedback. Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Is I want to make a family heirloom recipe book. Because so one of the recipes I want to try, there's in Grandma Bug Bug's Illinois Church Family Heritage recipe book, someone had included a fudge recipe with a pound of Velveeta cheese. Yeah, that was the same face I made when I saw that. So I don't know how good Velveeta cheese is. Cheese fudge? Yeah, I don't know. It's literally cheese. It's like chocolate cheese fudge. I don't know. It traumatized Aunt Christine and I when we found it. We were both like, a pound? Like, I get a little bit of cheese, but a pound. Wow. All right, they fit, but I'm going to have to do one at a time. So I'll show you guys this oven in a minute once I'm actually prepped, and unless Maddie wants to tell me. She's editing. Okay, so I'm going to use butter to prep the pan. Why are you staring at me? I'm watching a YouTube video. She's watching my YouTube video. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm just using a stick of butter and I'm prepping the pan. Literally just open up the stick and run it along the bottom of the cake pan and the edges of it. I would encourage you guys to use at least, well, at max, probably a 8-inch cake pan. Just because you can technically probably make a larger cake and you can totally make muffins and different things like that for this recipe. But I would just be careful because if you don't know your altitude, if you don't know all that kind of stuff for this recipe, it might not turn out the way that you want it to. So I would just start off for first time with the 8-inch or smaller cake pan. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good reminder, Madeline. It is my first time using einkorn for this recipe as well as the lard. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. We haven't made this recipe in over a year and a half because we've been in Florida with the other things and other things going on in life. It's so funny how quickly life changes. Like, I didn't think that I would be standing here making a cake in Colorado without all the concerns that I had before making a YouTube video. So, because literally I was like, I have like 15 employees. I got to make sure things run and operate. We got to get people in the door. And now I'm just here making little cakes in my free time. And it's weird. I do miss it, but it's cool how God takes your life and turns it for good in all the directions, no matter what. Even when it's hard, even when it's scary. But yeah, if you guys haven't heard, Maddie and I actually have a Bible study channel. And we host Bible studies in the Florida area in person at the Disney parks. And we have a bunch of other people that actually help us. We have some friends like Kashmir and Bryn and all of our other friends that help us host Bible studies when we're out of town. And then something really cool about it is that when they're done with their in-person Bible studies, we get to actually jump online on YouTube with one another. And we get to host a Bible study again, but for all of our online friends who weren't able to make it in person, and even the ones that are not even in the area or they just want to rewatch it. It's really quite cool. So if you guys want to keep up with our Bible studies, you should totally follow Kingdom Sibling Life. It's really cool. We did a whole one on Revelations. That was like a whole month of Revelations talk. And then we did a yesterday, we literally did one on the parable of the wedding banquet in Matthew 22. And then we've done some on prayer. We've done some on isolation. We've had in-person Bible studies about fear. And I feel like a few coming up is going to be the wisdom of God as well as forgiveness. So you guys should totally tune in. It's quite fun, actually. It's really quite fun. So, okay, I got these all buttered, all prepared. And I don't think that this is going to be enough for all the batter I have, but I'm going to see before I try to make any more pans. And so let's go ahead and scoop what we can into these cake pans. And since this bowl is so full, I'm just going to use one of the previously used measuring cups. Now, when you're filling this up, you don't want it to be really full because this will poof up again with like the baking powder, baking soda that we used. So you just want to be careful with how much you actually put in the cake pan itself, especially since this is a thin cake pan. You're not going to want to make it too thick. I'm going to tell you that straight up right now because the thicker you make a cake, the more inconsistent baking can become. Just purely for the fact that the outside will cook faster than the inside, especially depending on your altitude and your humidity and all of the things. So just be aware of that when you're baking this, is you're going to want to go for thinner instead of thicker. Think brownie, a thin, good brownie. Okay. So I think those two are good. We're going to go to this one now. But yeah, this is what it should look like. And we're not quite done yet with the batter, so be sure to not jump ahead to the putting it straight in the oven yet if you're following along. Now, one thing I just noticed is that the bottom is not completely mixed with the brown sugar, so I'm just going to do a real quick stir. I'm going to scoop in some more. Now, this pan is a little bit larger than the other two. I think this will probably work out just perfectly. 3 cakes. Okay. Good. So now I have a little bit of batter left over. I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. Instead, I'm going to move on into our final step of preparing the batter. I'm going to preheat this oven for 375 again. And the time we're going to go for about 30 to 35 minutes per cake. So we're going to go about 30 to start. This cake setup, this oven setup can totally cook way faster than a normal oven. Again, I'll show you that in a minute. But first we're going to get the the brown sugar. But first we're going to get the cinnamon and sugar mixture. I wonder if I have enough. Now, if you like if you know, then you know that like cinnamon and sugar on toast with good butter and especially raisin bread, it's good. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to make some more. I'm gonna grab the ground cinnamon and our sugar. Just refresh this can of cinnamon and sugar so that it's ready. Yeah, I'm literally just putting in a bunch of cinnamon in there. I'm gonna get it nice so I can stir it together. Okay. And again, cross-contamination, you want to use everything that's clean when you are scooping with the same mixture or the same measuring cup into a different ingredient. Okay. I'm going to keep building this up until I feel like this is plenty. And literally just mix ground cinnamon and plain old sugar together in whatever jar or dish or whatever you want to use. And that's how you make the coating that's going to go on the top of the cake. And this is just to help caramelize the top of the cake to make it taste really good, add extra texture to it. So I'm going to add a little bit more cinnamon and then I'm going to call it good. And then I'll show you what this mixture looks like. But yeah, if you know Cinnamon sugar on toast with tons of butter, that is the dessert of the century right there. And if you're really fancy, you've got yourself some raisin toast. But this is what it will look like on the inside. It's literally just going to turn that sugar into that little lighter shade of brown color from the cinnamon. I'm going to leave the sugar out because my mom's going to use it for canning. So let's go ahead and set this here. I'll put the cinnamon with my stuff to put away because I have a big mess. And so now in my little container, this is technically a pepper container. There would be a salt and pepper one. I remember, the only reason I know that is because my grandma Bug, one time she was helping stay over with Maddie and I and making lunch, and she had made some egg salad and didn't realize that this was not pepper. She thought it was pepper and not cinnamon sugar. And so she had put it in her egg salad, not Maddie and I's, but hers. And she didn't tell us until after she had eaten it all. And she said it was disgusting. So that's how I know this was supposed to be a pepper shaker. But yeah, you're just going to do a dusting of this on the top. You can do as little or as much as you want. It's really on to preference. For me personally, if I can't see it, I don't like it. So I just put as much as I want on there. Again, personal preference. So I'm going to do that to all 3 of these cakes. And then we're going to throw the first one in the oven. And today it's supposed to get up to like 92 degrees. So it's gonna get pretty hot in the house. We don't have air conditioning here. We have portable air conditioning units that we tie into the windows every summer. But it still gets hot because when this house was remodeled, they actually removed the ventilation system from the roof when they put new shingles on it. And so the air does not breathe out of the roof as much, and so it actually seeps through the air vents, like the one above me and the ones in the bathrooms. So it gets hot. That's the only fun thing about baking in the summer here in Colorado is a lot of older houses do not have built-in air conditioners, but they have usually before they're remodeled, usually before people interfere with that, they have great ventilation and the windows are built to actually bring in cold air during the summer. Unfortunately, because the roof was remodeled and all that, that's really why it gets so hot. But okay, I'm almost okay. That's it. That's what I'm gonna do. So when you're all done, look like that. Again, the coating is totally preference. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in the oven, so I'll show you that. Okay, so this is the oven that we're going to be using. This is something my grandpa Webb gave my mom. It's really amazing. It cooks and gets up to temperature really fast. I've already set it for 30 minutes for 375 degrees. I'm going to turn the light on. It's not the cleanest right now, but you didn't see that. I'm going to pop one in the oven because it only fits one. And we're going to let that bake for the full amount of time that it has there. I'm going to push start. Now it's preheating, and we'll update you throughout the process. But I might make some muffins. I might make little cupcakes depending on what I want to do with the rest of this batter. And you'll probably just see that at the end of the video. But yeah, that's what it's looking like. And again, the powder sugar or the sugar in the cinnamon is a complete preference. So put on as much as you want. Alrighty, so now I'm going to pull the cake out of the oven. It's a little bit more crispier on the top than I like, but I think that's because it's actually the oven is so close to the cake pan when it's cooking. But it still looks great. It's still going to taste great, and that's all that matters. So, I guess you're filming. So you do the sprinkling before you bake it, and you do the sprinkling again after you bake it. So since you're here, I might as well do it again. See how it's a little bit more burnt than I like it? That's okay. You see that though? It's gonna taste great. I'm really excited. Alrighty, so we're almost done baking the 3 cakes. You'll notice that we're already missing a cake. I sent it home with my grandma Bug because she dropped by. And I was gonna give it to her actually anyway, so it was really convenient. So she took home one of the cakes. The second cake that cooked looks like that. But that's just because I didn't mix the brown sugar all the way, so whatever. It'll still be good. And then the third one I think is looking great. We're gonna save that one for a dinner that we're going to on Friday at my Aunt Heather's.
These we could package up into little mini gifts to people, right?
Yeah, I mean there's 3 I think in there. So I just gotta bake that too.
Oh,
Those are like
yeah.
little bundt cakes of it, so that'll be fun. But Mom is prepping for her jelly thing, and that is a different video, so be sure to watch that. But yeah, she's super cute, and it's gonna be fun to do that. But yeah, that's why the kitchen is a bit more hectic than it was earlier, is because I'm finishing this video, and then Mom is starting to make the jams, the jellies, whatever it is. Jelly! And she'll explain the difference in that video. But my Aunt Amber is coming over to do that with us, so.
Which you saw her. Tell them where they last saw her.
Yeah, you guys saw her last at the fair video, and she was talking about all the different canning things and what she does. She was one of the judges, so. We'll see you when the cakes are done. Alright, Mercedes, so what happened since you last vlogged? So since I last vlogged, Mom and everyone's vlogged her started vlogging and almost done vlogging their jam jelly, what is it? Jelly. Their jelly experience. Aunt Amber's left already and we're currently water bathing them on the back patio. And we're preparing to throw these in the oven. These have sat because found out they don't fit in that little oven over there. And this was full of jars we saw earlier. So
These guys.
we're gonna put these in once the oven's preheated, and we're going to find out how this goes because I've never actually cooked in this kind of cake in these pans. I've done muffins and stuff before, so we're gonna go for the normal amount of time at the normal temperature and just see what happens. So yeah, once it's preheated and they're all cooked, you guys can see our taste review. Alright, so I think the oven just beeped. It's ready for us to put these in. So we're gonna throw them in the oven. Maddie may or may not do a time lapse. I don't know. It's up to her will what she wants to do. And then we'll follow up with maybe us pulling it out in a review.
How long do you think you're going to leave those in for?
I'm going to say 30 minutes. I'm going to do the exact same thing as last for the other ones. So, bake time. How do I hit start?
It just starts. It just starts.
But it says start time right here.
No, just let it sit, leave it. It'll cook. Watch, it'll go down.
3, 2, 1. Ah. Huh? Are we sure?
I don't know. You got other timers.
Hey Google, set a timer for 30 minutes. I don't trust it. I mean, it has a light on. So who knows? Okay, see you then.
Okay, we deposit time lapse because she wants to check on them.
Yeah, I don't know how these are doing. They kind of look like they're burning.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know though. I mean, they're acting like they're done.
I mean, they have a lot less surface area.
Yeah.
I said pull it out. How long has it been?
16 minutes. It's only been half the time. That one looks weird. I think it's cooked though. Yeah. Okay.
What about this one?
Well, that was what I was most concerned about. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Don't get too close. I think I'll put it in for like 5 more minutes.
Yeah. Oven's open for you, girl.
Thanks. Whatever. Hey Google. Scrap that timer.
No problem. Consider the timer canceled.
Hey Google. Set a timer for 5.
All right, today 5 p.m.
No. Hey Google,
37.
cancel that timer.
Okay, cancel.
Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
All right, 5 minutes. Starting now.
More like it.
Okay. Sadie's working on getting the last of it dished out. How'd it turn out, Sadie?
I think the better
If
question
this-
is, I think this was a much better and more reasonable turnout for the first trying of the bundt cake version of this than we would have ever expected.
Agreed.
And I'm actually really excited because the two new ingredients, the einkorn flour and the lard, are going to be very interesting to taste. And I think although it looks like, you know, it looks like stuffing from Thanksgiving.
That's very nice.
It's gonna be like just as delicious, but it's good because Sadie put her heart and soul into it, not because the visuals matched what she expected. The good news about that is she has room for improvement, and it's not gonna be the last time, which means I get to keep eating her amazing goodness for the next however long it takes for her to get it done.
Right? So, Sadie, are you pleased with how things have worked out to this point as far as using the new ingredients?
Yeah. I'm not pleased about the way that these smaller ones turned out.
Yeah, we're not
Well,
sure if it's the
let's-
pan or what the metrics were because it's a different type of metal in the pan. So,
Yeah, I really think it was. This cake is not really meant to be done bundt, like any kind of stylized cake.
no.
But it was the only pan I could find, and I'm just upset that it crumbled.
Yeah.
So how about this? Let's try it and rate it on the flavor because visually we all agree, I think. So here, Mom.
Okay.
You and Sadie come over here and try it together, and then I'll try it.
Okay. Mine looks pretty.
All right, ready, guys?
Okay.
Itadakimasu.
Mmm.
Yeah, it tastes good.
Way
I mean,
more
that's all
moist.
that matters.
Way more moist.
Yeah, the lard did that. That's
Mm-hmm. It actually held in the flavor better too.
Yeah, it's actually good.
I think Maddie needs to try it.
My turn,
Yeah.
please.
Wow. Right? That einkorn flour and the
That
lard.
actually is way better than any flavor that you've made so far.
Yeah, the
Right.
flavor is great. I'm just upset that it looks like that. I would not win on Gordon Ramsay's TV show.
But like you said, like we've always made this in like a brownie pan.
Yeah.
You tried. So you not only did an experiment with einkorn flour, you experimented with lard. Both are winners.
Mm-hmm.
But then you experimented with a pan that we never use in this historical cake.
Mm-hmm.
We always use like a brownie style square or round pan.
Yeah, like the other cakes.
So, you know, I bet you the other ones turned out
This-
visually the way you wanted it.
Probably.
The best rhubarb cake you've ever made.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. I'm
Now-
100%.
I just got to get the visuals on point.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with an old historical square pan.
No, there isn't.
Or cupcakes. Cupcakes would work.
We
But
gotta-
Yeah.
good job
You
trying.
should call the grandparents because you gave some to them and see if they cracked into it and what they think.
Yeah, that'd be
Are you
fun.
kidding? I'm pretty sure my dad took it home and started eating it.
Yeah, he probably ate it all.
So all in all, good job.
It tastes good. That's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie agrees.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm going to go eat this. Because although it's not pretty, it's still good.
Yeah.
You should try making it, but not in a tiny pan like I did. Do it like the other three cakes for the large brownie pans.
Either way, it tastes absolutely amazing. You could put this over vanilla ice cream and you just have your mind blown. And don't ever underestimate the power of rhubarb and the proper spices and sugars with it, especially brown sugar. So, yeah, we'll do this again.
Yeah.
It's a historical thing. I probably literally had hundreds of these cakes over my lifetime because it was my grandmother's recipe. And I would say this is one of the best ones I've had yet.
Wow.
So,
That's
with,
intimidating.
if you're if you're discouraged about the shape, I could care less. It's going to change shape in my tummy. And it's
That's
going
true.
in.
That's
So,
true. Looks the same going
I
in
think,
as it goes out.
Maddie, we should just, right? Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you.
that's right. Right? So on that
Thank
note,
you.
you should be proud and be able to
I
put
am
your
proud.
feet up. Okay?
I'm going to sit and eat this.
Yeah, so enjoy it. And thank you guys for watching so that she can get her feet up. We're going to say see you later.
And I think the next time we make this, we should try it in Florida to see what the altitude does. Because this recipe was made here.
With a square pan.
Yes, with a square pan.
Yeah.
But, all right, bye.
See ya.